first time here, I believe, because when I came about 20 years ago, it was a different house. Do you remember? I remember hanging out with Chiranjit Prabhu. I was just a little squirt at that time. So, Chiranjit Prabhu, Shamapriya. I remember Vishnu, you were there. I remember Chini and Chandra were similar. But I'm just such a beautiful little kunj here. I really feel like it's a place where Thakurji is really happy to reside with their very dear devotees. You know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings Jedina Grihe Bhajana Deki Grihe Te Golokubai. That home, Grihe, that home where I see beautiful forms of Sri Vigraha, Thakurji being served, and where I see the family performing bhakti. For me, that is Goloka. I see the spiritual world there. So you can argue, oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur he's a Uttam Bhagavat, so he's being very magnanimous. But whose vision is more correct? The higher the personality or the lower the personality? The higher personality has more correct vision. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, wherever Thakurji is being served, look at this house. Everywhere you look, it's all udipan, spiritual stimulant. That's why we don't take material stimulants. Because we don't need them. We have so many spiritual stimulants. It's called udipan. People wake up in the morning, I need my cup of joe, I need my this, I need my that. It's material stimulation. But what do we need? Spiritual stimulation.
Spiritual Joe.
Bhakti Joe. Bhakti Jan. Bhakti Yo. Bhakti Yo. If we look here, right, this is a kunj for Radha Krishna. And we are fortunate to be able to be present in that kunj and serve in that kunj. Everywhere you look on the walls, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, and Radha Krishna Jan, Radha Krishna's associates. And so this is a temple. Beautiful temple. And also it's in a very favorable environment. When we started our ashram in New York, Prabhuji was saying, there was a weird email back and forth, and he said, this is like, he gave a really long name. Like, Krishna Play Garden, Kunj, Seva Ashram, Bhakti Center, Niketan, Guru Seva, and so forth. So that's like in Braj, Radha Krishna sometimes go and play in a place called like Himachal. It's representing the Himalayas in Braj. Kedar Badri in Braj. So that's like our ashram. Where Radha Krishna go and play, but it's also like a Himalayan kind of environment. Very cold and wintry, and then also very beautiful, like Manali or something. But here everything is very favorable for Radha Krishna Udipan. That's why Gurudev liked Hawaii so much. Not because of a good climate, but because it's very favorable for his Udipan, his spiritual, Udipan means something that stimulates you towards a certain kind of focus, So we have incense and ghee wick and flowers. Everything we're offering is to help stimulate our Krishna consciousness, right? To focus on Krishna. So that's why, there's a story in the Bhagavatam. This person, Ajamil, was such a sinner. He was doing all kinds of nonsense. Like, whatever you could do wrong, he was doing it. Cheating people, cheating his own family and wife, living, and murdering people. But all he did right was he named his son Narayan. And that was enough to save him. At the time of death, he called out his name. His house wasn't filled with pictures of the Lord and all these things. So therefore, there's There's a verse in Bhagavatam. Ahobakyam stanakalakutam. That, O Krishna kamvad hayalum sharanam brajema. Krishna is so merciful. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? That a person like Putana, who came with poison on her breast, intending to kill Krishna, he gave her a position like his mother. So therefore, what position is given to devotees who have genuine love and affection for Krishna? We cannot even imagine. Therefore I say, we have our Bhakti clubs, right? Give yourself a break sometimes. Like we're doing our best, and we can always improve. But just the fact that have any kind of tenderness in our heart towards Krishna, towards Guru and Vaishnav, that's enough to save us in our life. Like we were talking last night about Srila Gurudev. Vaishnavera gunagan kurile jivera pran. Just speaking about the Vaishnavs, that saves you. Korile jivera tran, that liberates you. Saves you in a calamity, like in a dangerous situation, you're saved just by hearing about the glories of the Vaishnavs and developing any regard for Vaishnavs. So really Bhakti is, Bhakti is very simple. We're trying to develop relationship with our objects of love. That's it. And so the Vaishnavas are so merciful that they, we can think, there's a verse about Krishna that we can apply also to Vaishnavas. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham ashritam. That Krishna is so merciful, he appears on this planet in a human-like form by which we can see him and hear about him, and he performs very sweet pastimes so we can develop attraction towards him. So that's why he appears. That's why his avatars come. His avatars don't come, they perform miraculous activities to attract us, but they perform very sweet pastimes to win our heart. So we can see the same thing for Gurudev, how we were hearing so many stories last night. Just how he won our hearts. Not because he was trying to, almost like with some calculated way, win us over. No, he didn't need anything from us. He is eternal associate of Krishna who has everything. What does he need? But he appears and out of his great compassion develops relationship with us, and then through that, by developing attachment to him, by thinking of him, when we chant. That's why the position of Guru is so important, because he is that one who Krishna says, Acharyam mam bijaniyam. The Acharya, I invest all my potency in the Acharya. So all of Krishna's attractiveness manifests in the attractiveness of Sri Guru. And then he can draw us to Krishna. So I think, people ask me, oh, Guru and Vaishnava, sometimes they're chastising me, sometimes they're testing me. But this is Krishna acting through them to draw us towards himself. That's real Guru. Real Guru isn't drawing you to himself. He is drawing you to himself only to offer you to Krishna. So Gurudev would say, I'm coming and I'm collecting hearts and I'm offering them to Radha Krishna. That's my service. Therefore Guru has no kapata. He's not, some false gurus, they're speaking about God but trying to take you for themselves. This is not Guru. This is bogus Guru. Some gurus are speaking about themselves and you, and we're all God. Another kind of bogus Guru. But speaking about God and try to take you for themselves, this is not bona fide. So Gurudev wasn't like that. What is Gurudev's most famous kirtan? Govinda dhamo dharamadhaveti, Govinda dhamo dharamadhaveti, Govinda dhamo dharamadhaveti, Govinda dhamo dharamadhaveti. Gurudev, he was himself so affectionate and so charming and so sweet and attractive that he won our hearts But then he didn't say serve me. He said Govinda Damodara Madhave. And that's one of the how you can recognize a great devotee. Is that if they help awaken your attraction towards Krishna and your desire to serve Krishna, Krishna Seva Vasana. And the simple things. Out of millions and millions of billions of jivas. It said even millions of liberated souls, the devotees, pure devotees of Krishna are very rare. What is a pure devotee of Krishna? Pure devotee of Krishna has many stages. But Krishna says in the Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam, one-pointed devotion to me. We may be fallen, we may be distracted, we may be this or that, we may be in, you may think, but I'm doing this, but I'm doing Maya, but I'm not every day, 24 hours a day engaged in Krishna Bhakti. But is your heart offered to Krishna? Is he your only Ishtadev? Radha Krishna, Jugal Kishore. When you put your hand in your heart and you can sing Radha Krishna Prana Moro Jugala Kishora Jivane Marane Bhati Arana Himora Kalindira Kule Keli Kadambirabana Ratana Vedhirayupar Voshavadurichana Shama Gauri Ange Divachua Chanda Niragana Shamarad Lavo Eribo Mukha Chandra Gati Amalatir Mala Divo Dohargane Adharitu Liya Divo Karpuratam Lalita Vishakayadi Jatasa Kibrinda Bhagyaya Koribo Seva Charana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dase Ranudasa Sevaya Vilasa Kore Narottamasa Sevaya Vilasa Kore Narottamasa. This is Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Krishna is my only object of love and worship. It doesn't mean don't have relationships in this world. It's another kind of confusion people think. Loving Krishna means I have to hate everyone else. No. Loving Krishna means, Krishna, everything is for you. Everything is yours. I am yours. And if it is my adhikar to be in family life, then that family is yours also. And so I should love them because they're your devotees. Gurudev said once in Houston, someone was saying, Gurudev, some people say, just renounce everything and abandon your, family, this is bad. Gurudev said, no. If you offer yourself to Krishna, and all your family members are serving Krishna, serving them is even, you could say, there's a lot of, but basically, serving Tadiya Vastu of Krishna sometimes takes higher precedence than serving Krishna. Mother Yasoda gave up giving her breast milk to Krishna, put him down even though he wanted her breast milk, and she went and saved the pot of milk that was boiling over. Why? Because the pot of milk is Tadiya Vastu. Tadiya means anything that is engaged in the service of Krishna, or wishes to be engaged in the service of Krishna, or it's endeavoring to be engaged in the service of Krishna. So therefore, it's such a special thing to have what Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings. Krishna rasangsara koro chadiyana chara jivedoya Krishna dharma sarva dharma sara. Jivedoya Krishna nam sarva dharma sara. This is the essence of all dharma. What is that? Not just Jivedoya Krishna nam. Krishna rasangsara koro chadiyana chara. My family, my home, my life, my possessions, my property, everything is Krishna's. Then Sarvasya tomara charane sapriya. I will be like your dog. Stand at the door of your house and protect. People who want to come and disturb, I will bark and chase them away. Whatever remnants you give me, I will eat. So bhakti is a very simple thing, but bhakti is also a very complex thing. Simple for the simple-hearted. Difficult for those who are difficult. It's not about, like we say in the ashram, people want to follow bhakti metric system. Did you tick all your boxes today? Didn't go to Mangalarti. Oh no, I'm a bad person. Oh, I didn't do my 3 lakhs Harinam. I'm a bad person. I didn't finish my rounds. I'm a bad person. We have, quantity, and we want to focus on practice and practice and practice. But don't also criticize and judge yourself too harshly just because you don't necessarily meet the ideals that other people set for you or that you're trying to reach. You judge a man by his ideals. Right? Okay. But try to follow a bhakti process every day. Follow your practice, a certain amount of your day. Give to bhakti, give to Krishna. 24 hours of the day is there. Plenty of time to sleep, plenty of time to eat, plenty of time to hang out with friends, plenty of time to do your work. But some time is just for Krishna. That's why we say Brahma Muhurta. Why? The first time offered to Krishna. Why is Brahma Muhurta so special? You wake up in the morning, it's like you don't eat remnants. Krishna doesn't eat remnants. So the first thing in the day, give it to Krishna. The first time offered to Krishna. And then, depending on what, stage of life you're in, do your duties, Krishna Sansara Koro. If you're in the Vanaprastha age, Sannyas stage, all of your 24 hours, as much as possible, is just for Bhakti and Bhajan. Like Raghunath Das Goswami. Chapan danda ratri dine janina radha govinda vine. Darpar chari danda suti thake swapne radha govinda deke. For him, 22 and a half hours of the day was bhajan. And 1.5 hours of the day was for sleep. And in those 1.5 hours of the day, what was he doing? Seeing Radha Govinda and serving them. So it was 24 hours of the day. I know Vaishnavas who say, my favorite time of the day is sleeping because no material distractions and I only get to do my service. So my 3 hours of the day and sleeping time, because also they don't do it too much of it, because there's also demands on their time and service externally. So that's why sometimes Vaishnavas say, no, I'm just going to chant 12 hours a day and then just sleep and eat. But what is your seva? Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grayam Indriya Sevan Muk Jivado Swayameva Suratida. Rupa Goswami says, we can be chanting Krishna Nam, Krishna Nam, Krishna Nam, but it doesn't appear in the material senses. Sevan Mukha Jivado, when our life is a life of transcendental loving service or service, then the holy name arises automatically, the pure Shuddhanam. So there's a story of South Indian temple, and there was someone who had gone to every single Mangalarti in his whole life. And when he was like 85 years old, one day his alarm clock or something, he didn't use an alarm clock, he was just going every day. But for some reason or other, he was going to be a little bit late. And he was going to miss it one day. And so then it said that, this is the we hear like an itihas story, Puranic story. Kali Maharaj came to wake him up. He said, wake up, you're going to miss Mangalarti, it's starting. So he got up and went to Mangalarti. And afterwards he said, he revealed himself later. He said, thank you for waking me up. He said, I wanted to wake you up because I didn't want to risk the chance that you would give up your pride of having gone to every single Mangalarti in your life. Said, I didn't want to risk the chance that you give up your pride of never having missed a Mangalarti. So it doesn't mean going to Mangalarti, don't go to Mangalarti. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying Bhakti is Bhakti, nothing else. Don't add any, false mixture. Bhakti is Bhakti. I'm doing Bhakti and I'm the Bhakti champion 2022. I ticked every box in my Bhakti metric. I'm top of the stats, North America. North America #1 Bhakta. And where's the Bhakti? Where's the Bhakti? So Bhakti is a simple thing. Saraladita hi Vaishnavata. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. You hear stories of Mahaprabhu Bhaktas, they're just a Bhakta through and through. Bhakta through and through. Their life, blood beats the rhythm of Gauranga, Radha Krishna, Nityananda. That is their life. Nitai, 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 Nitai. Where I'm going, what is my destination? That is Krishna's, up to Krishna, up to Radharani. But I am his Bhakta. No one can take that away from me. You can kill me. You can't make me leave Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Then if that nishta is there, then bhakti is automatically going to develop. So therefore, gradually we want to, there's a balance in life, and there's scales, right? And Maya and Krishna, and Maya and Krishna, and Maya and Krishna, and we're kind of oscillating between them. That's okay. Just pray to Maya Devi also, you should help me in my bhakti. You're my mother also. And Maya Devi, I'm doing this now, I'm doing this. I know it's a little bit Maya. I know. Checking this, checking that. Distracted here, distracted that. But Krishna doesn't look at that. Krishna says in the Gita, Ananyas Chintayantamam. Always think of me, Ananyas Chintayantamam. But he also says, be one pointed to me. Right? He says, Yajanti deva vrata devan, pitrinyanti pitri vrata, bhutani yante buddheja yanti madhyajinopimam. Those who just worship me come to me. So he said, sometimes we see, that's why one of the main things Srila Prabhupada and our Gurudev would teach is ananyata, one-pointedness. I remember even in my house, Gurudev was like, who is your Aradhya Dev? Who are you worshipping? And we're lucky that for us, our Aradhya Dev corresponds to our eternal dhams. What are eternal dhams? Gaur Dham, Braj Dham, and also Jagannath Puri Dham. Very important. But our mood of Jagannath Puri, Jagannath is Brajendranandan Krishna. Who is Jagannath? He is Brajendranandan Krishna. And he is with his siblings, Baladev and Subhadra, and they are in the Kunja Braj. Like when they do Rath Yatra and they come to Braj, they don't want to leave. In Rath Yatra, Jagannath doesn't want to leave. When he goes to Gundicha Mandir, Lakshmi has to forcefully fight with him to bring him home. Right, the 5th day. He said originally, I'm just going to go for a day. I just, it's like, I want a vacation from, my house here in Sri Mandir. So I'm just going to go out for one day, go out with my friends, go on the chariot, see everybody, see my subjects. And I'll come back in the evening. She says, all right, because Lakshmi wants to control everything. She is like the epitome of a controlling wife. Perfection of a controlling wife. Hey, you better be back by this time, curfew. So Jagannath says, okay, no problem, First, you have to say sometimes, better to ask forgiveness than permission. So Jagannath goes out for one day and then he goes into Gandicha and all the Braja Gopis have prepared already. That's why when Mahaprabhu would do every year Gandicha Mandir Marjan, they would try to take the service away from him. The first time Mahaprabhu said, we're going to go, Mahaprabhu would just come to Puri. Mahaprabhu was thinking, Mahaprabhu is Radharani's mood. So Radharani's mood in Kurukshetra, that's why some people criticize, Jagannath Puri, this is not Braj mood. Those who say like that, they don't understand what is Mahaprabhu's mood. From one perspective, Brijabasis, the gopis have a lot of man. So Krishna, one type of Brijabasi could say, Jagannath Puri is not good. From a Brijabasi perspective. But that's like a one kind of mood that comes. But for us Bhaktas, Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri as Radharani. So there's a verse of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami says, even if they offer me like unlimited everything, I would never go to Dwarka. They can give me Krishna can just, Rukmini and everyone can just sign over Dwarka, it's yours. I won't go. But if I hear that Radharani's there, I will fly there at once. This is their mamata. Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad writes in a verse, Radha Rasanidhi, and some of his other prayers. He says, it's a very bold statement that shows his anurag. That's why I'm trying to say is, if you develop your anurag, all the other things that you need will come. Your chanting will increase, your bhakti will increase, your absorption in Krishna will increase, but develop your anurag. The anuragi jananugami. And you develop that by taking association of Vaishnavas, following the process of bhakti, by association with people like Srila Gurudev, that anuragi jananugami, following them, then your anurag increases. Develop your anurag, then you'll chant more. Develop your anurag, then everything you eat will be offered. No anurag, then it's all just formality, etiquette. No ras, no bhakti, and then, oh, I'm afraid of hell, so I'll worship God and expatiate my sins by chanting the names of God. No anurag. So your bhakti isn't bhakti. It's a shadow. Anurag, then is bhakti. But anyhow, the point is simply the fact that you have any type of little bit of affection for Krishna. That is the beginning of your anurag. So sometimes we think, oh, I need more. But why do you have these pictures in your house? Because you have anurag. Why do you have Thakurji? Why do you cook and offer to Thakurji? Because you have anurag. So just simply try to develop and increase that anurag. Everything will come from that. Like in your temple. Radharaman, so beautiful, smiling so sweetly with Radharani. But just develop your anurag for them. Bhakti is finished. Bhakti is successful. But no. Hey, this person didn't go to Mangalarti. Take him out of the temple. You know, they say in temple life, kick someone out, get kicked out. Kick someone out of the temple, get kicked out of the temple. Why? Your heart will dry up and you'll leave. Very dangerous. You can pray to Krishna, oh, this badmash, please purify them, rectify them, or Krishna, you can deal with it. Very dangerous. Why? Anyhow, they're in the temple because they have some sukriti in which they can be in that holy atmosphere, that nirgun place, that spiritual place. And so therefore the duty of someone managing a temple is to serve those people in their development, helping them develop, and giving them some discipline. But anyhow, we just try to increase and develop our anurag. So Jagannath Puri, Jagannath is in Gundicha Mandir, and Mahaprabhu is there cleaning the temple. And the king was thinking, this sannyasi who is like God himself is sweeping my temple. I can't allow that. He said, I'll hire 1,000 sweepers to do it. Mahaprabhu said, you cannot take this service away from me. In our temple in Mathura, people would fight for the chance to clean the floor. My service, Prabhu. Hey! So sometimes people who think they know what bhakti is, oh, it's just chanting, or it's just this, or it's just this, whatever limb of bhakti you're attached to. Bhakti is seva. Japa is also seva. So while you're doing your japa, internally you're doing seva. Bhakti, the root of bhakti is what? Bhaj. Bhaj means bhajadatu, the verbal root bhajadatu means seva, service, loving service. So Mahaprabhu is cleaning the temple and cleaning the temple with the mood, oh, my Krishna is coming home to Braj. My Krishna is coming home to Braj. My Krishna is coming home to Braj. You can imagine how joyful he was. And so they were cleaning the temple with so much joy. That's why Anandam Buddhivardhanam, bhakti is blissful. Seva is Ananda. That's understanding of bhakti. When you understand Sevananda, then you understand bhakti. Like when we do festivals, like some people think, oh, cooking, cleaning, oh, I just want to enjoy the festival. That is the enjoyment of the festival. That sweetness we get, I remember like in New Praj when we would do these festivals with Gurudev, and you make this, I remember like helping out make the sweet balls while Gurudev's giving class, and you're listening to the class and you're just thinking, Gurudev's going to be handing out these sweet balls. And all the little kids are going to be coming up 2-3 times again and again. You know, Gurudev is going to be crushing it in your hand and teasing you and playing with you. That seva is ananda. Why? Because that seva develops sambandha, your relationship. If you have that relationship, then anurag is automatic. So the secret to anurag is relationship. If you have relation with, that's why mother naturally has anurag for a child. She has relationship. That relationship that's inherent, innate relationship. Family members have this relationship, so naturally they have anurag. They'll quarrel and fight, but ultimately they'll know we're family. And so that anurag is what we're trying to develop. And if we look at Braj, the speciality of Braj is that everyone is engaged in this transcendental loving service. That is Bhakti. Otherwise, Shantaras. Neutral. Passive. No sweetness. No grita sneha, no madhu sneha. No honey-like affection, no greasy ghee-like affection. Just relaxed Shantaras. I am in the Lord's universe and everything is good. But we want, what is Bhakti Ras? Bhakti Ras is Braj Ras, and Braj Ras is service to Krishna in a mood of Vatsalya, Sakya, Madhurya. Especially in Braj. Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, these are the 3 main rasas of Braj. Dasya Ras is really in Sakya Ras, or Madhurya Ras. Meaning, it's imbued, or Vatsalya Ras, it's imbued with that special, like Raktak Patrak, the servants of Krishna. They're not like, oh, we're showing up, clocking in as the servants of Krishna. Yes, but they'll have the mood like, oh, Krishna's like my son. Meaning, they have that kind of, if they don't do their service for Krishna, it's like, who's taking care of Krishna? They have a kind of paternal mood towards him. Like, Krishna's my boy. You know, I gotta take care of him. Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. That's one of the specialities of Baladev Prabhu. Baladev serves in every ras. That's why Baladev Tattva is so important. Nityananda Tattva is so important. That's why Baladev and Nityananda are guru. Because they serve in every ras and can engage us in the service of every ras according to our nature. Why Shantaras? As the flute, as the bed, as the paraphernalia, as the bodies, everything. And even that, the flute of Krishna is sentient. Paraphernalia of Krishna is sentient. But that's Baladev's ras, Santaras. Then he's serving in Sakya Ras as Krishna's friend, and also Vatsalya Ras as his big brother, like a mood of a parent. And Madhurya Ras as Ananga Manjari. He's serving in all the rasas. So therefore, Guru can engage us in the service of Sri Krishna. Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. What is the tendency of Bhakti? The tendency of Bhakti is Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Sri Krishna. That is how you know that you're developing in Bhakti. Hare Krishna. So, you know, we're going to be having a 3-4 day festival in our ashram in New York for Jagannath Rath Yatra. July 1st to 3rd, and maybe a little bit before and after. The sweetness of the Gundicha pastimes, when Mahaprabhu prepares the kunj and then he invites Jagannath. Jagannath won't move forward unless Mahaprabhu is in front of him. And when Mahaprabhu goes behind, Jagannath stops. And then Mahaprabhu uses his head and pushes the cart. And when Jagannath's in front, Jagannath seeing Mahaprabhu as Radharani, he's moving forward. So therefore, Jagannath is Brajanandan Krishna. Therefore, when Jagannath is coming to Gundicha, he's singing, Seto Parananath Painu, Jaha Lagi Duhane Juri Gelu. Now I've found that Lord of my life. Seto Parananath Painu. Not as like chanting a bhajan, thinking a mood. Like we chant a bhajan and we have this mood a little bit, but we're also praying with that mood. And we're praying to have that mood, or we're praying with that mood. But if we're praying for it or we're praying with it, it means it isn't just like natural, spontaneous outbursting from our heart. Now I have found the Lord of my life. And they sing Jaja, Gaga, Jaja, Gaga. So for us, we see Jagannath like Krishna, almost like baby Krishna, who is just melted in the love of his devotees. That is our Jagannath. melted with the love of the devotees. Vaishnava, I've heard Krishna's like, he gives everything away. Everyone wants things from God, so he says, take it, take it. You want more? Take my arms, take my legs, take everything. But then the Brajbasis say, no, Jagannath, come back to Braj, and we'll just give you and give you and give you, and then again you'll become Brajendranadan Krishna, dancing with the Brajbasis. So that's why we see in Jagannath especially the difference between worldly bhakti and real bhakti. People who worship God just for reward. God, I'm going to give you $10, but just make sure you give me $1 million. Oh Lord, don't you know I gave you in Tirupati, I went and I gave you a gold coin. When are you going to make me king? A lot of people worship God like that. But how do we worship him? Only, I don't need anything from you. All I need is you. That's the secret. Duryodhana said, Krishna, calculated. Okay, so you're going to give me your army and your wealth, and then I'm going to defeat my enemies. And you look at a lot of like Psalms, right? Oh God, crush my enemies to dust. Then you are my Lord. Right? Who are the devotees? Arjuna. Oh Krishna. Haribo. Radhe Radhe. Oh Krishna. Take everything else. Give everything else away. I don't need anything. Just give me you. Just give me you. That's all I want. I only want you. I don't want any of your things. Oh Krishna. That's why our mood is Madhurya, not Aishwarya. Madhurya, Aishwarya Bhakti means God is good, and he has a lot of good stuff too. God is great, and his stuff is great. I'll take a little bit of that, a little bit of your fame, thank you. A little bit of your beauty, thank you very much. A lot of your wealth, thank you very much. And I'll do some arti once in a while and offer you some food. This is a lot of kinds of people follow bhakti like that. Krishna has all the 6 opulences in full. How much of that can I get? It's like you're going into a store. Yeah, I'll take 1,000 Bitcoin, thank you. All your beauty and fame and followers, thank you. And I'll do some arti. But our mood is, all I want is you and your service. And Krishna is God, so he naturally wants to give you things. This is the secret. Anytime you hear he appears before his devotees, he's like, what can I give you? What can I give you? And it's like he wants to give you a boon because it's fun for him, because he has everything. It's like a person who has like unlimited wealth and they're not a miser. It's like if someone has $1 billion, they're like, oh, I don't know if I can give them $1 million. But if every day they're making $1 billion, it's like, yeah, take it. They don't care. Krishna has everything, all wealth, all opulence, all beauty. If you're his devotee and you love him, then he's like, just take it. He wants to give you everything. But if you want everything except for him, he'll give you all those things, but he won't give you himself. Bhukti mukti diya jan palaya Krishna bhakti naden rakanudakaya. He'll give you opulence. He'll give you even liberation. Oh, you want a planet like mine? Take it. You'll be Vishnu Narayan, forearm form, and just having a party on your own planet. Not bad. You want to merge into me and just like pretend that you're me and think that you're me? Take it. Whatever you want, he'll give it to you. That's bhakti. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha. You have all desires or no desires, whatever you have, just worship Krishna, you'll get it. But our mood is, I don't need anything. I'll be satisfied with what I have. I'll work hard for you. Right? We shouldn't be lazy. For you, I'll do what's necessary, what's my service. But all I really want is you. Develop that anurag. So such a beautiful beautiful space here. Let's do one short kirtan since we had some nice friends arrive. And then I wanted to go into, usually I have like 10 minutes before class. I'm like, I better think of something to speak on. And then I usually never don't speak on it because we just go in another direction. But I was thinking of like what we've been talking about a little bit in other places is trying to develop a relationship with Krishna in this mood of natural bhakti. Some people think, what's the most important pastime of Krishna? Killing the demons, yeah. That's good. Killing the demons is nice, fun. But what is he just doing every day with his friends and family? What is his like natural lifestyle? Let's think about that. How is Krishna in the forest with his friends? How is Krishna with his mother and parents and father? How is Krishna with Radharani? Just this natural relationship. That's what we're seeking. When we hear about serving Krishna in the spiritual world, we're not like, I used to think like that, just Krishna, right before I go back to Braj, just let me have some time with Kalki. Let me be his riding, people think, I know, because some people say, I heard this from a devotee in New York. He was teaching, actually in Florida also, he was teaching martial arts and teaching about Braj Bhakti. And Braj Bhakti is good, but if I could just be with Nrsingadev, but that'd be great. If I could just really take care of some demons, the joy of just giving that punishment that they deserve. If I could just be the Punisher, the weapon of God, smashing his enemies. Okay, no problem. That's a kind of rasa. I want to be with Parshuram.
Vira rasa, right?
Vira rasa. The gopis and Brajbasis also have some Vira rasa, but what do they do it with? Radha Krishna Ganudesh Dipika describes which gopis are in charge of making bombs and weapons. And they make these flower bombs. Why? Because Krishna is the Sakas, they're also doing it. And when they have these holy battles, how do you know that? You see in Nandagaon Barshana, Krishna's party, Radharani's party. They're the most famous for holy. They do it for weeks. And it's like a war zone. It's like war. And you try to go to Barshana on holy time, you better be ready to come back black and blue with stain. Your whole body will be stained in color. And they'll get intense in it. Why? Because in the spiritual world, they're also fighting like that. But it's their rasa, it's their sweetness. The point is that if you have real relationship with Krishna, that you're not looking for all those other things, then all those other things will be there. Vira ras, hasya ras, adbhut ras, bhayanak ras, all the other rasas, the secondary rasas will come. But the primary rasa is important to establish. What is my relationship with Krishna? And so that's the thing, if you think about family life. Family life, you'll go on adventures with each other. But what's the basic things that just keep you as family? You sit down and you eat together and you talk with each other and you go to bed and you wake up and, you live your life. So God's also doing that. So I want to do a little kirtan and then discuss, we got up to the third part of the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu that correspond to Trinadapi Sunichana, the third part of the day. So we're trying to go through this sequence. So we can do one quick bhajan as a little interlude. What time is it now?
7:25.
Okay, so we can do one quick bhajan and then about half hour more since everyone just came. And we'll be having programs. This was kind of impromptu. We'll having programs tomorrow and the next day. Maybe try and do for one little kirtan.